Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Gainbridge LPGA Boca Rio Media Center. We're joined by world number one and the defending Gainbridge LPGA champion, Nelly Korda. Nelly, thanks for stopping by.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Different course,
Yep.
but you're the defending champ. What's it like to come to a different venue, but still be the one that everyone's chasing this week?
I've actually never defended at the same golf course, I think. Yeah, so.
That's fun.
So, fun fact. I played the front nine yesterday, and we played here 2 years ago, so I kind of know the golf course a little, but I think the forecast for this week is not supposed to be great, so we'll see how it goes.
How much did last week prepare you for the weather in the unseasonably cold weather in Florida?
Yeah, I mean, the first 2 days were really nice, and then obviously the weekend got a little chilly, but I whipped out the big jacket. But yeah, it was nice. It's a hard golf course to kind of start the year off, but it was a lot of fun, especially that kind of event. It was kind of an easier take into the first event of the year, but it was a lot of fun, and I had some good moments and I had some iffy moments too, but in all, I hope I can ride the good into this event.
You mentioned never defending at the same golf course, and that'll happen later this year, but what have those experiences been like in the past, to show up at a different venue but still try to draw those good vibes that you had the year before?
Yeah, I don't really, I guess I don't really know because I've always defended at a different golf course. I guess in a sense the expectations are a little lower just because you are defending at a different golf course. But, I'm just going to try to embrace it and see where it takes me.
Yanni, we'll throw it to you.
Do you embrace the status of being the number one player? Obviously, it's where you want to be. Is there a certain pressure to it? How do you approach that status?
I don't really try to think about it too much. I've said it a couple of times, but I always say that good golf kind of solves everything. You just try to focus on the ball and the golf course, and hopefully, you can get somewhere with that. But I try not to focus on kind of being the number one player in the world because it's as bad as it sounds, it's a temporary thing, right? So what you're trying to focus on is being present out there, having fun, and enjoying the round.
What is the relationship you and your sister have during a round? Like, obviously, if you're not paired together, you're probably checking each other's scores, but do you sort of recap it at the end of the day? How are you sisters, outside of the round you're playing that week?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm on the golf course, that's the reason why I check the scoreboard so much, is to see where Jess is at. And regards to if we talk about our round after, sometimes, most of the time we don't. We just try to kind of take our mind off of it and kind of enjoy our dinner together because we're like automatic dinner buddies. Every night we have dinner together and we just talk about anything probably but golf usually.
John, you got anything?
Sorry, I was late to the party.
You're good.
There you go, buddy.
Well, I didn't have anything, but I'll just randomly ask you something.
Okay.
Have you talked about Madeline yet? I know that she hasn't won since she was here, but a lot of people have some great things to say about her game. And she says she's awestruck, for the most part, still being, kind of a rookie in her head. But do you see her maturing?
So I actually played my Symetra Tour year with her, so I've been kind of on tour with her for now 6 years. So when we were on Symetra, she was just dominating out there. She played really well. She hits it far, she hits it high, and she putts it well. And I think she's a really solid player. But yeah, I mean, I think the golf course is playing a little different than it was 2 years ago, but you never know. I mean, I think she's an amazing player, and she has a bright future ahead, too.
You got your year started last week at the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament of Champions. Obviously, the celebrities and former athletes, a big part of the event. Was there any advice that you received from anybody or anything you learned from anyone in particular last week?
I actually got a really nice message from Josh Donaldson. I'm just going to keep that to myself, but he was one of the people that reached out to me. But I've played that event since it started, so it's been really cool to see how much like the friendship has grown with the people that I've seen every year, and it's been a lot of fun. I really, really enjoy that event, and it's always a goal to get back to that event.
You mentioned that the course is playing a little different from some of the players and caddies. What I heard about this course was that it's a bombers course. If it is playing different, does that not suit bombers like yourself, or what's different about it?
Well, it all depends on the wind and the forecast that we're going to have. Yeah, I think there's advantage to hitting it longer out here. But I think the greens are a little bit slower, and I think they're trying to keep them slower just because the wind forecast is supposed to be really high Friday afternoon and Saturday. So, and I think the fairways are a little bit fluffier than they were last time. So I think they're just trying to play towards the weather aspect of it. But I do see a big advantage to hitting it longer.
We'll go to Zoom. Greg, if you can unmute.
Sure. Hi, Nelly. I wanted to ask you about your schedule and how you go about setting that. Given your status now as world #1, obviously every tournament would love to have you. How do you go about setting your own priorities versus wanting to support the tour and support every event?
Yeah, I mean, it was a no-brainer starting in Florida, 3 weeks. I can drive everywhere. That's really nice. I played the PNC event in December, so I didn't really have an off season. So to be fresh going into the rest of the year, there's so many events. Summers usually are the biggest part of the year with so many majors. I decided to take Asia off, to take 6 weeks and start back up on the West Coast. And the main focus always for the year is to stay healthy and to stay fresh. And, I usually play around 22 events a year, and that just to me works. I don't try to go over 4 events in a row. I try to take max 3, maybe sometimes 4, and then take a week off just so I'm fresh, because when you travel so much and you play so much, your body changes and it kind of leads to injuries too. So staying fresh throughout the year is a main goal.
Yeah. So I'm in Las Vegas, and I wanted to ask, last year you skipped the match play for the inaugural event. I was wondering if there was a reason for that, and if you have any plans to play it this year.
So yeah, I usually, the past 2 years, I've kind of skipped the event before the U.S. Open, and I've MC hammered twice. So this year I'm planning to play the Vegas event just to see if my luck changes a little. So I am planning to play the Vegas event.
Great. What did you hear from your peers about the Vegas event?
They've just said the golf course was amazing. It was really pure and great condition. And I think that'll be a good lead up into the Open as well, playing a tough golf course.
Great. Thanks.
Greg, thank you. Nelly, you mentioned earlier your time on the road to the LPGA, which was officially launched today as the Epson Tour. Epson taking over title sponsorship rights. With their partnership comes an investment not only in the players but in their future, with no purse under $200,000. A player ambassador program giving 10 players $10,000, the graduates, to launch their LPGA Tour career, and a lowering of the entry fees. When you hear all that and you see a global brand putting their not only their money where their mouth is, but walking the walk and being catering to the development of women's golf, and having been out there, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's crazy to think that 6 years ago I was on Symetra Tour. I wouldn't have traded it for the world, and yes, there's some difficulties that come with playing on the Symetra, obviously, purse and entry fees being really high, and for them to make that difference is really, really big, and I think, the game of golf and women's golf is moving in the right direction for these companies to step up, and as you said, show up for us is, I think, a really big stepping stone going into the future.
Have you noticed in your time out here, maybe the talent level? Is it different now when the players come from the Epson Tour versus 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago?
I would say yes, just because I think I learned so much being on the Epson tour. I think, you kind of learn the ways of tour life. You kind of learn time management. The LPGA, I feel like some people maybe put a lot of pressure on themselves when they're a rookie and they're so new and they don't really know what to expect. While when you go through that tour, you stay in the States and you travel, you can drive to events too, and I think it's a really good stepping stone going into the LPGA tour, and I learned so much by playing.
Last one I have for you, unless anybody else has anything. Just being back at Boca Rio and the club, they seem to really welcome the tour with open arms in 2020. I would imagine that only continues and increases this year. What do you remember about the membership and the fans and just the event as a whole, from walking inside the ropes and looking outside the ropes that week, and what you expect this week?
Gosh, it was 2 years ago. I barely remember last year, but I do remember how welcoming everyone was here, and I'm super excited to see, where this week goes. And I just remember how welcoming and how nice everyone is here.
Awesome. Anything else from anybody? Nope. We're good. Thanks,
Thank
Nelly.
you.